Welcome to Everything Co-op, bringing you information on how cooperatives can help improve your quality of life. This show is being sponsored by the National Co-op Bank, NCB. The NCB is dedicated to strengthening communities nationwide for the delivery of banking and financial services for the nation's cooperatives, their members, and other socially responsible organizations. For more information on the power of community ownership, visit ncb.coop. That's ncb.coop. Now stay tuned for your host, Vernon Oakes.
Good morning, everybody. This is Vernon Oakes. Welcome to Everything Co-op. This is Thursday morning. We're just recovering from the elections or praising the elections, depending on where you were with them. We had a couple of sessions, Thursdays. We talked about it in preparation and wanting everybody to get out and vote. Voting is extremely important and the first and the main thing that one ought to do in a democratic society. And this morning, we're going to talk to Mike Houston, who has a little democratic society up in Takoma Park. It's a food co-op. It's called a Takoma Park Silver Springs Food Co-op. Good morning, Mike.
Hey, good morning, Vernon. Thanks so much for having me.
Thank you for being on. It's always a pleasure to talk to you. I understand you guys went through a little bit of renovations over the summer and so forth.
Yeah, it's more than a little bit of renovations. We just did our ribbon cutting to reopen the brand new remodeled TPSS co-op in Takoma Park. Incredibly thrilled with the project and excited to be here this morning to talk about it.
Well, let's talk about it. I haven't been able to get up to see you, but I hope to do that soon. How did you guys, talking about democracy, how did you all decide to do this? Because you are a food co-op and that is a consumer co-op. The members own the business. How many members do you have approximately?
We have over 11,000 members.
11,000. So how do those people get together and decide to do such a large expansion, or how did that process happen?
Sure. Well, your first point is very timely because tomorrow is the last day of our board elections. So for the last month, our 11,000 members have been voting on a new board of representatives, and that they're, if you are a member owner of TPSS, you're still available to go onto our website and put in your vote. Very excited to have everyone be able to exercise their democratic right as member owners. But so that board of directors oversees the store. They hire and manage myself, the general manager, and then it's up to me to run the store day to day, deciding, what employees we hire, what products we have on the shelves, those sort of things. But that board of representatives runs the store through policy, that they, pass policies that I'm, need to follow.
Okay. So there's 11,000 members, and you say you could go to the web page. And so what's the web page of Takoma Park Silver Springs Food Co-op?
Sure. It's always a mouthful. Our friends just call us TPSS. But yes, it's tpss.coop. And so, the process for, deciding to do this remodel. So this actually began way back in 2017. Before I was even general manager, I came to TPSS in 2018. But the store had aging equipment, our refrigerators and freezers were getting pretty old. A lot of our shelving was old. And so we applied to a grant from the state of Maryland to be able to upgrade our equipment. It was a historic grant because our building is in a historic district. As I was able to see over the course of the summer, as we pulled everything off the walls and the floors and the ceilings, it is an incredibly old building. So this upgrade was badly needed. But so if you can imagine, 7 years ago, we really needed new equipment. So membership was certainly involved in in that process of seeking that grant. We were obligated to spend matching funds to match the amount that we got from the state of Maryland. And then the rest of the project was funded by the co-op itself. So we were very excited that we didn't have to take on any additional debt. We did not change our pricing structure, at all. So, all the products, if you come in now, are priced, exactly the same as they would have been before the remodel. But that was, sort of the beginning of it. We were actually gearing up. This is probably a common story. We were gearing up to do this remodel in January of 2020. We had our board retreat. We were getting ready to start the design phase and all that. And then obviously COVID hit us and was a very difficult time for grocery stores. So we lost a couple years there, but we picked up the planning again in earnest in June of 2022. So it's been about 2 years of design and then 18 weeks of construction, which I'm sure we'll talk about in order to get to where we are today.
Yeah. Do you mind? I'm going to ask a question that may be sensitive, and if you don't want to answer it, it's good. How big was the grant from Maryland?
It was a $500,000 grant, and then we had to spend at least $500,000 in matching it. And if anyone who's done any one of these projects before, especially as intensive of a remodel as we did, knows that you can very easily, on equipment and construction, spend that much money and more.
So you're saying basically you had $1 million.
Yeah, that was the full. We're still tabulating all the cost of the project, but yes, that was the original amount of money that we had.
And how large is the store? Square feet?
Yeah, so it's a 4,200 square foot store, so it's relatively small as a grocery store goes, but it's a $10 million store. Our sales per square foot, which is usually a metric that you use in grocery, are incredibly high. So that was another part of the impetus is we needed to have equipment that was working. Our freezers and fridges would break all the time, and we would lose a day of sales and have to put product in the back and all those kind of things. Our floors were uneven, as anyone who had previously been to the co-op would know. If you let go of your cart, it might go away a couple aisles. Yes, and our registers, were in a location where when we were busy, shoppers backed up into the shopping aisles. So there were a number of things that, this remodel allowed us to address, both in terms of the shopping experience, upgrading the equipment, getting new energy efficient equipment, but also keeping, a lot of the pieces of the store that people loved. The bulk section, is a particular highlight. We have over 400 items in bulk, which is unusual.
Wait a minute, 400?
Yep. Yeah. Every new grocery store that I go into, a new Whole Foods, a new Mom's, people are shrinking their bulk section. And for us, it's just the opposite. We have liquid bulk, we have honey in bulk, we have feta, tofu, just all kinds of things that you can buy by the pound all throughout the store. And obviously, a huge bulk section with nuts and granolas and candies and all those kind of things. So yeah, over 400 items in bulk.
Well, I'm getting ready to take a trip in my car, or RV rather. I may have to come by and get some of those bulk items.
Yeah.
On my way out of town. Okay.
No, absolutely. I bring in my little spice jars and refill them whenever I'm done with the spices. And so, both in produce and in bulk especially, we have a lot of people that can come in and shop package free in the store. And I know that's, really important to a lot of our customers.
So you can get cinnamon in bulk?
Yeah. We have a huge section of spices and, all kinds of different flavored salts and spice blends and, teas, loose teas that do really well. So, it's a big section. When we reopened last week, that aisle was just full of people, who had been missing the bulk section, excited to come back in and refill their pantries.
How do you make sure that it's sanitary, particularly after COVID?
Certainly, just like, so we don't have any prepared foods, but during COVID, a lot of people shut down hot bars, shut down salad bars, especially early on when there was a lot of, people didn't really understand it. But yeah, in bulk, so you have what's called the gravity bins where, you sort of put a bag up to it or put a jar up to it and pull on the handle and it falls down in. And then there's also the scoop bins. But you always have multiple bins and you sort of rotate, taking them to the back, cleaning them, sanitizing them, and then bringing them back to the floor. Obviously, we just did a remodel, so everything we have is brand new. Every single bin, just got sanitized. But that is, the tongs and the scoops and everything. You need to keep cleaning those, especially, for sticky things like cranberries and dates and that kind of stuff.
Okay. This sounds, you're making me want to come out there. So what's the address of TPSS?
Sure. We're at 201 Ethan Allen Avenue in Takoma Park. It's in the Takoma Junction, which is a wonderful area. There's 2 large parking lots on either side of the store, so certainly plenty of parking if you're coming that way. We're on multiple bus routes, and then a pretty short walk from the metro. I take the metro myself, and get off in DC and walk into Maryland every day, and so there's a number of ways to be able to get to the store.
What stop you get off of in Maryland?
It's the Tacoma DC stop.
Okay.
Right there by the the bus boys and poets and everything in DC.
Oh no, what's the one that you get off of in Silver Springs? What metro stop?
Oh, the Silver Spring stop with the Red Line stop would be a bit of a hike, so you're definitely better off getting off at the Red Line Tacoma stop.
Okay. How old is this building? When was it built? It's in a historical district.
Yep. So we opened as a co-op in 1981 and moved to this current location in 1998. So this remodel was really the biggest thing that we have done as a co-op and the biggest investment we've made since moving into this building in 1998. So we've been in this location for over 25 years. When we first went to begin construction and had to do demolition, we were going up in the ceilings and taking out wires and had 25 years worth of IT wires and security camera wires and all kinds of things that had to come out before we started building everything back up again. But yeah, so it's definitely an old building, and got to see that as we sort of peeled back all the layers of the onion. But we were able to put in brand new floors. That was an entire saga, several week saga to get the floors level. We put a new roof in, new HVAC equipment all throughout the store. So certainly the shopping experience for customers is going to be brand new, but part of the excitement of doing a big remodel like this is upgrading what I call the bones of the store, the electrical equipment and the floor and the roof and the HVAC and all that.
So I just did a little math since we figured out we both like math. So you got $1 million at 4,200 square feet. So you've done all of this work for $238 per square foot, which seems to be kind of low to me because you're talking about all of the outside, the physical building. And the reason I ask you how old, I was looking at when the building was built. Was it built in 1600s or 1800s? Okay, because that gets to that structure and the bones and the floors and the roof and all of that, not just how long you've been in there.
Sure.
And so, particularly when you say how unlevel the floors were, I haven't been there in a while, so I don't remember the floors or any of that. And then on top of that, you have to put in all of the shelving and refrigeration and everything on the inside, and I assume you probably have new registers because you've had to change all of that to get the flow better and so forth. So that sounds like you've got a lot done for $238 per square foot.
Yeah, no. To be clear, so the project definitely cost more than that $1 million. I don't have the exact total on the project, and don't want to put out an inaccurate number. Okay. So we'll as we get our finances looked at in this year, we're certainly going to go back to the membership and talk about the total cost of the project. But yeah, I mean, we definitely spent more than just what we got from the state of Maryland. But the rest was self-funded by the co-op. We didn't have to take out any loans. We were lucky enough to already have the cash on hand to be able to fund the project. So yes, I mean, what you're talking about, we, got all new registers. The bathrooms got redone, the back room, the prep area, and yes, all new freezers and fridges. One of the most exciting things for me is, when you walk in, it used to be our produce was off to the right and sort of went around the corner. And now we have the produce. You can see the entire produce case and all the wonderful, local fruits and vegetables right when you walk in. And so it just looks fantastic. And we got a lot of fantastic reactions from customers and longtime shoppers when we reopened the doors last Wednesday.
Okay. I want to go back to this 11,000 members. Did you have a membership meeting to decide to do this renovation? Because it's a huge amount of money.
Yeah. So we do 2 membership meetings a year. So, again, we had sort of been gearing up for this in 2020. So we've been talking about it for a long time. The membership has sort of been, brought along at the different stages. One of the things that we've always talked about is, it was pretty important to do this. It was, we had the money, that we needed to spend from the state. But at the same time, there were off ramps, so we could, spend some money on the design and then, decide, well, this isn't the right time. So bringing the membership along in those conversations and making sure people understand, what the co-op is deciding, what goes into those decisions, who the project partners, are that I want to talk about, is important, in making sure people, feel a part of the process. So especially over the course of the project itself, communication was incredibly important, and making sure the members understood, when we were slotting to reopen, what we were working on that day. We put up a lot of pictures. We had a whole section on our website dedicated to the remodel. So, in this cooperative model, it's really important, that the member owners and, just regular shoppers that, come in and love the store, even if they're not member owners, understand what we're doing, at every single step.
It seems to be, if you get 11,000 members, it would be hard to get them to vote and agree on anything.
Yes, and that's certainly, why the model is, electing that board of representatives. Those board members are obviously volunteers, they're co-op member owners themselves, but it is up to them to ask questions on behalf of the membership, to understand what we're signing up for. When the project went out to bid, the board looked at all the different bids from the contractors that bid on it. We had multiple architects. We wound up going with an architect out of Frederick, Maryland, called Bates. And we picked them in part because they had helped to design the second Common Market store up in Frederick, Maryland, which is a beautiful 50,000 square foot co-op, and, just turned out fantastic. And, so they were very familiar with the cooperative model, had experience in designing and building grocery stores. So, was very thrilled to work with them. And then we wound up going with a construction firm called Calmia, that we were also, incredibly happy with, and built us a beautiful store. So, the board is very involved in those kind of vetting, on behalf of the members, and making sure that we're picking good project partners, that we're spending our resources wisely, and that we're, accomplishing the ends that we set out to.
And I like that you said you had savings in the housing co-op world. They're called replacement reserves. And so you have to put away enough reserves or savings to replace the roof when it has to be replaced, or fix the parking lot, or pave it, or whatever windows, if that's what the co-op's responsibilities are. So as a food co-op, you also had these reserves. How long had you been saving, and did you have in mind, as you were saving, that you were going to use part of that savings, if not the majority of, but part of it, for this renovation?
Yeah, I mean, that was certainly, for the 6 years that I've been there, we've been putting away profits in order to, look at this project and this kind of reinvestment, in a very successful store. That's, again, we've been in this location for 25 years. The store, does really well and is worth investing in. So what we've just done, the money that we spent really sets us up, for decades of success in this location, with fully functioning equipment and new floors and all those things that are going to serve us, really well going into the future. So yeah, I mean, that is, a big thing that we thought about over the course of years as we were putting money away. It's obviously much cheaper to not have to borrow. And so, yeah, as I've talked to other co-ops about similar projects, folks are certainly a wee bit jealous that we wound up not having to take out any money in order to fund this large of a project.
No debt's always good at the individual and my household or business level.
Absolutely.
Because whether it's 3% or 7% or 15% interest, it's expensive. Money's expensive.
Yep.
And I don't think we'll get 3% anytime soon. Okay, so let's stop with the renovations for a minute and talk about you. You've been there for 6 years. What were you doing before you came to the now let's even go back further. Where did you grow up and go to school?
Sure. So I was born in D.C., grew up in Arlington, Virginia, and have moved back to D.C. and have lived here for the last 14 years. I went to school at the University of Missouri, was in the School of Agriculture there, graduated with a Bachelor's of Science, sort of took some odd jobs after college, as probably a lot of people my age did. Worked on the first Obama campaign, living in Boulder, Colorado. Got a job at a liquor store after that campaign ended. So hopefully some of my elder millennials out there will recognize the circuitous path to your actual career. But so I moved up to Brooklyn, New York, with some high school buddies, and literally just needed a job, and wound up getting a job as a cashier at a little natural food store there called Pearlandra. And that was just, I didn't know it at the time, but absolutely life-changing. I adored the natural food industry. The food scene in Brooklyn was really interesting. There were all kinds of different local vendors that we sold there. Started to learn about organic and, sustainable and fair trade and all the different third-party certifications that were involved, and just started to get more and more into the grocery world. So got promoted to doing the frozen buying, and then got promoted to doing the grocery buying, and then became one of the managers. And one of the owners of that store was a nutritionist, so learning from her was just absolutely fantastic. We had the huge vitamin wall that you expect to see at those kind of stores. And so when I moved back to DC after a couple of years working there, I helped to open Dawson's Market in Rockville, Maryland. So that was a second store expansion of Elwood Thompson's, which had been opened in Richmond in 1989, and was a same thing, like a community staple, and a store that everyone in that area loved. So I got to see the process. I was the assistant store manager originally, and got to see the process of opening that store. Getting all the staff hired, getting everyone trained, opening the doors, having a grand opening, as I just did this last week again, and took over as store manager after 2 years. And again, was incredibly interesting. We had a huge prepared foods program there. We won a lot of awards for our work in the community and sustainability. So the entire natural food industry just fits with my my personal values and my personal ethos, and I've just always loved it. And then after Dawson's, came over to TPSS, and the co-op world. In addition to having that natural food piece, is just a step beyond in terms of the shopper's connection with the store. How much people care about their local food co-op, and especially we saw during COVID how dedicated people are to making sure that that their food co-op is supported, that they shop there. So it's just been fantastic to for a career in the natural food world to find my way into co-ops and get that extra layer of love and support that really comes from the model.
So I just want to add one thing to what you said. You talked about millenniums and having a route, trying to figure out what you want to do. You all don't own that space, okay? That was my world too. Okay. You just don't know what you want to do, and then some experience, some professor, somebody teaches you something or get some experience, and you find out, this is my calling. So you found yours, and it's co-op world. So when did you first hear about co-ops and learn about co-ops?
So it really was, again, as store manager at Dawson's, I was applying for the general manager role at TPSS. And I tell this story because I don't think it's an uncommon experience with people as they're first learning about and connecting with co-ops. But obviously I wanted to go over and check out the store, and, was talking to my wife about it, and I had some phone conversations with the board and everything. But when I got there, I literally didn't know if they were going to stop me at the door, not being a member, like a Costco kind of deal. Even walking into the store, I didn't know for certain if I was allowed to make a purchase as a non-member. And so, I think there's areas of the country where obviously we have more co-ops, but here in DC, at least food co-ops, we don't have a ton of them. And so, I think that's a big thing we think about in our messaging, is making sure everyone understands, anyone can walk in, anyone can make a purchase. This is a space for everyone. We obviously have the member owner model. But, making sure everyone feels welcome, coming into the co-op, is really important.
So, Mike, thank you so much. We're going to take our first break now. Thank you for telling us about your renovations and that process. I do want to come back after the break and talk about what did you all do for that 18 weeks that you all had closed the building down. And I want to talk about a little bit more about the future, where you see the future for food co-ops and any other co-ops. Okay, we'll be right back. Please don't touch that dial. Welcome back, everybody. This is Vernon Oakes, and the program is Everything Co-op. We're talking to Mike Houston from the Takoma Park Silver Springs Co-op, known as TPSS Co-op. And their webpage is www.tpss.coop. And you can go there and learn all about the co-op. They have 11,000 members. Mike, we've been on air now 11 years. We're just started this month, our 12th year on air, talking about co-ops.
Congratulations.
And as you said, how members really like their co-op and want to see the best for their co-op and each other and the members. National Co-op Bank has been our main financial sponsor in those 11 years. They've been a great partner. They've been our main cheerleader. They tell us a lot about what's going on in the co-op world, so we can get people on and talk about co-ops. And NCB's mission is to support co-ops and their members, especially by providing financial services, innovative, I would say, financial services. But you didn't need to go to them for this renovation, which is great. I'm sure they would like to do business with you if you want to park some of your money there, though.
Yes, certainly.
So they can make loans to other people that may need it. So you closed the doors of the store. When did you do that?
Yeah, so when we selected our project partners and put everything out to bid, all of the contractors that looked at what we were needing to do said that it would require full store closure. So we again wound up selecting Calmia as our construction partner, but it required, the original timeline was a 14-week closure. So in the planning process, we said, okay, we have 45 staff members, we have a whole lot of inventory, we have people that are reliant on us for shopping. We actually have a USDA grant that funds our Double Up program, where people who are SNAP recipients get 50% off their fruits and vegetables. And so we have a huge number of people, that are coming in and using their SNAP money to buy fruits and vegetables every week.
Okay, well, they use their SNAP money to buy fruits and vegetables, and they get 50% off.
Correct. It's a program, that you see around the country, called Double Up at a lot of places. But for us, it's called Fresh Checks. It's a partnership with a local nonprofit called Crossroads Community Food Network. But basically in thinking about all of that, we wanted to and needed to, come up with some way to still serve our members, to keep our staff employed, because that's incredibly important to us. And, to still have some income coming in over the course of the project. So what we did is something fairly innovative. During COVID, we had bought a 30 by 30 wedding tent. We were, closed and online only.
So you decided to start providing weddings then instead of food?
I guess we could have done that. That did not come to me, but I should have called you. So we had bought that and owned it because we had people picking up groceries from online ordering at the time, in all weather. So we designed a grocery store inside of a tent. So it was fully enclosed. Our last day that the building was open was the 4th of July. And on that day, we were breaking everything down inside and transitioning into the tent. But we built a full grocery store inside of a 30 by 30 tent. We had 2 cash registers. We had produce. We had grocery shelving all around the outside and across the middle. So we had, all the grocery products that, it was certainly a more limited assortment, but we had everything, that you would find inside the store, in our tent. And then additionally, we had a refrigerated unit that we rented. So we still had, dairy and milk and eggs, and then refrigerated produce down the other side. So it was certainly not our normal sales volume, and we lost money over the course of the summer, which we had planned on, but we were able to keep the staff fully employed, still be doing business from the location that people are used to coming to, and so it was a very interesting summer in the tent.
Did you have a lot of cookouts in the tent?
No prepared foods, but yeah, able to to get the fresh produce in again, and beans and oils and everything in packaging inside the tent.
Did you have to? When you said it wasn't the same amount, so was it like 1/3 of the goods that you normally would have in the store, you have in the tent?
Yes, it was about 20% of the space. So yeah, about 20% of what we had in there, and the sales matched it. We did about 26% of our normal sales. So again, was good to keep some income coming in, and keep folks coming to the location and shopping with us and peering in the windows to see the progress on the construction over the course of those weeks.
What did you do with the 80% of the goods that you would normally have?
Yeah, leading up to, obviously we knew we were doing this, so leading up, we weren't allowed to sell beer and wine, so we packaged that all up. We rented an office across the street. We were very, very, actually a full house really, but, so our administrative staff, myself included, had office space, and then, our employees had space in the basement there. We set up our break room and workstations for everyone. So we warehoused our beer and wine that we couldn't have in the tent operation there. Warehoused a lot of our supplements, that had much longer dates on it. But everything else, we had to sell down all of our frozen inventory, all of our refrigerated inventory leading up to that. And then obviously as we've reopened, we repurchased all of that stuff in getting ready to reopen last week. But it was a process of making sure that we stopped ordering at the correct time and didn't wind up with a bunch of product that we didn't have anywhere to put it.
Well, that is an awesome management exercise to go through. So you opened back up on the 6th of November.
Yes, we it has been a wild couple weeks, but we got our final construction inspections, which is great, and And then at that point, we were ready to bring in groceries, once we had our occupancy permit again. So we worked very closely with National Cooperative Grocers. They have a team that does this kind of thing, that helps with store openings, with remodels. So we had a lot of people on the ground to help with getting produce set, we had to take every 4-foot section in the store and set it up again on the new shelves, and do the milk section, and the bean section, the pasta sauces, and all that stuff. So over the course of the summer, while the construction was going on, we were doing that planning work in order to get reopened quickly as soon as the construction was all completed. So NCG usually recommends 21 days, and we did it in 12 from getting our occupancy permit back to reopening on November 6th. So it was definitely a sprint, but we have over 200 local vendors that we order from. So we were, getting back in all those local products. Every single one of those is a call or an email, and letting them know exactly what we're ordering. And then we have the regular groceries that we're ordering from our wholesalers. So we just had trucks and trucks and trucks coming, and delivering product over the course of those 12 days in order to get everything ready for last Wednesday.
Do you think you could get it from the 21 days down to the 12 days because you all had been in business before and you had those trained employees that knew about all of this with the help of National Cooperative Groceries? Yeah.
So that's, every single opportunity I get, I praise our staff because they are fantastic. That was... I alluded to it, but a big part of doing that tent operation, was keeping our staff fully employed. It's very unusual for retail, but we have very low turnover. Our average years of service, among all those 45 employees, is over 8 years, which is just incredible in retail. We actually have one employee who just celebrated his 30th anniversary with us a couple weeks back in the tent, and we decorated his register that day. And but we have a lot of people that have been with us for a very long time. That know what they're doing, that know how to order, know how to stock, know the members, know their member number off the top of their head, know their kids. So yes, I think the fact that we were able to compress that timeline is in huge part to the fact that we have a lot of longevity on staff and people that know what they're doing, and when it's time to get a box off of a huge delivery, they know exactly what aisle it's going to, and we're able to do some of those things more efficiently.
Right. So this 30-year-old gentleman, has been there since it started almost, huh?
He's been with us consecutively since 1994, and I think even obviously I was not there at the time, but I think even worked longer than that. But our records go back to 1994, and so he was thrilled. We had a little cake and everything, and he was very happy with that.
Why do you think that these 45 staff members have an 8-year average turnover? Why is that so much higher than naturally in retail?
Yeah, it's intentional with the way that we run the store. So we are a union shop. Our hourly workers are all a part of the IWW union. So we have a union contract. We have great starting wages. We have a great wage scale that even goes up from there. And then we have really strong benefits. So I certainly talk about our wages, but and I think wages get people in the door, but I think our benefits package is really what gets people to stay. We give a lot of paid time off of PTO, and we have a very international staff. Those 45 employees come from 21 different countries. So
that's 2 people from each country.
Okay. We have it set up in such a way that the people earn a lot of paid time off, but also that they can actually take it. We have an assistant store manager that fills in when department managers take time off. And, we have what we call floaters that are trained in all the departments that can fill in when hourly staff take time off. So a lot of people, will take 4 or 6 weeks at a time and, go back and visit family internationally. And so, that model it really makes it more sustainable to have that vacation time and be able to take it. So I certainly, we have really good health insurance, good dental insurance. So we really try to invest in the staff. And, again, I think, it has benefits for the business, but it's also just the right thing to do. And I think, the staff feels that and feels, respected and valued at their job.
Okay. When you talk about benefits, going back to my MBA training, they talked about what motivates people, and like the salary helps people to get their basic needs, housing and food and all of that. But then you go up, as you go up the ladder, you're looking for what you talked about, respect. Giving this person, decorating his cash register and having a cake and celebrating him for his 30 years there. That kind of benefits, to me, is what really causes people to want to stay. They create community. You have a community of 45 people from 21 different countries. And I would assume, you can tell me if I'm right or not, but you all may have things where people bring in different foods, or if you have staff gatherings and stuff.
Yes, there are a lot of wonderful Ethiopian restaurants here, and we certainly sell, products from some of them. But, I think probably the best Ethiopian food in DC can be found in our break room, on any given day that you just smell, fresh red lentils and injera coming out of the microwave and stuff that people brought from home. And so, yes, as a foodie myself, it's wonderful to get to try some bites here and there.
Okay, I'm a foodie too. Okay, all right. Why do you think, I have it that food co-ops, in some research I did, pay their employees $1 to $2 more than normal grocery stores and have better benefits. And the staff can have a say in their scheduling based on their kids and when they have to pick them up and everything that has to happen. Is it because it's a co-op and the co-op values and principles that cause a food co-op? Because the staff are not members of the co-op. They're workers, like it could be a worker at a Safeway or a Giant or Harris Teeter or whomever, a big box store. All of these benefits, you say it's the right thing to do, and it has good benefits because people stay, and the longer they stay, the more they know, the better they can contribute and produce. So is it because it's a co-op that all of these things happen?
Yeah. I mean, I think that's a huge part of it. I would say, I know a lot of my counterparts, general managers at, the 160 NCG co-ops across the country, and I would say to a person, they care. I think whether that means they have found their way to co-ops, because they're a caring person in the grocery industry, is probably likely. But but they care about their staff. They want, there is not a single general manager that I've talked to that doesn't want to, pay their staff as much as they can possibly afford, while being able to run the store. We are staff members ourselves. I'm a staff member of the co-op. So, and I think the same could be said of those, of the board. They care, they understand, how hard staff works, how, difficult retail is, and especially retail grocery. It was, I said this, again, going back to the election, but, both major candidates are talking about retail grocery and grocery pricing. And, it's just a huge thing that people interact with all the time. And running a grocery store is difficult. And so, doing everything you can to value staff, to retain staff, to stop that turnover that you often see in retail. Again, it's the right thing to do. We care, but it's also just a good business practice.
We care. Okay. That takes me to the co-op values, the ethical values of cooperation is honesty, openness, social responsibility, and caring for others. And part of those others are employees. Okay, caring for each other and caring for employees. What does TPSS do for the community, the Takoma Park community, the Maryland community, the DMV?
Yeah, so a lot of things. That a good example is one of the things that we did at the reopening. So on Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, we donated $1 per transaction to 3 of our really close nonprofit partners. So Small Things Matter is a food assistance provider in Takoma Park. We've been partners with them for a very long time. They were absolutely crucial in our community during COVID and continue to be in getting donated food. A lot of their deliveries actually come to our space, and we keep it for them until they're ready to get it boxed up, to get it into bags. They use our space for that as well. So it's been a really strong partnership. Then on Saturday, we donated to Crossroads Community Food Network. So they run a number of different programs. They run a farmer's market in the Tacoma Langley Crossroads. They were the first market in the country to pilot that SNAP Double Up program. So they're our partner on that program. But they also have a food incubator where they help small businesses. It's a commercial kitchen space. They do food education in schools. So they tackle a lot of different food systems issues. And then the third one was the Montgomery County Food Council. I am currently the board chair of the Food Council and have been involved in the Food Council for a very long time. But it is, the premier organization in the county involved in food policy advocacy at the county level, at the state level. We do direct services in signing residents that are eligible for SNAP, up for SNAP, and making sure that we get those federal benefits into our community. So those are 3 longtime partners. We've done a whole lot of stuff with them, from policy advocacy, and I am a big policy person myself. And as you alluded to, that will continue to be a very important thing to focus on in the coming years. But getting food assistance out, making sure that people are not scared away from applying to benefits that they're entitled for, and advocating for better food policies is really important. So we can't do all of those things every day, but helping to support those organizations either logistically or financially, I think is part of our responsibility as being good members of the community.
Fantastic. Yeah, that's one of the reasons I like co-ops, because it's not only a business to do whatever it's set up to do, in this case it's provide food, healthy food, but also to be involved in the community and support the community. And you're doing it with food nonprofits. You mentioned that you have a savings, that you take some of the profit, put it in the savings. You take some of the profit and when you open up, that was $1 per transaction for that weekend, and donate to these 3 nonprofits, and you do things throughout the year. What about giving back money to the members? Do you do dividends or patronage?
Yes, we do have a patronage system. Again, we've been saving for a number of years towards this remodel. Certainly net we've been reopened for a week, so you and I were talking about math and numbers. As a general manager, I want to have months and months worth of sales data right away instead of only minutes at a time to be able to pour over. But obviously we are getting income coming in again, and our financial year ends in June. So we'll look at where we are in June. It's a board decision whether to do patronage back to the members, but we do have a system set up to do it if we turn a profit and decide to do that at the end of the year.
Okay. Yeah, I just want to get out this. That is one of the things that co-ops do. They don't send money to, well, they're sending money to shareholders, but those shareholders are the members.
Yeah.
As opposed to in the capitalistic system, they're sending money to shareholders who may not even live in the community or even in the country, for that matter. Last year, Everything Co-op had our first holiday list, and we had about 45 entries, and we narrowed it down to 15, and TPSS was one of those that made the list. How was that process for you, that what we did? And because we have one that's coming out this year, it's getting ready to come out. We've just figured out who the 15 are, and just want to know how was that for you? Anything we can do to improve it, and so forth.
Yeah, no, we were thrilled to be included on that list, and thank you to you and everyone at Everything Co-op, and so we had TPSS gift cards at the time, and we certainly sold a lot of gift cards over the course of the holiday. Again, since anyone can make a purchase, it's a great, you can come in and spend it on groceries, but we also sell all kinds of fun things. We have Tanzanian dresses that one of our staff members imports, and all sorts of fun decorative baskets, and so there's a lot of different holiday kind of things that you can buy with those gift cards too. So we just had a whole lot of gift cards printed up, and getting ready to go into the holiday season again. But yes, that worked out fantastic for us last year.
Did you see any increase in sales or increase in memberships because of it?
Yeah, I mean, the holidays is always, a big shopping season. Mm-hmm. We promoted specifically those gift cards, and they did really well. So yes, I would certainly say we saw some effect from that.
Thank you. So this year we've got the 15, and we'll be sending that out to the co-op world and everybody else so they can do their Christmas shopping. We'll get some of them out before so they can do Thanksgiving shopping also. Do you have any sales going on now?
Yeah, we have a lot of sales. When we reopened last week, we had a lot of buy one get one sales. We had a lot of really good sales on produce, and since we really opened right into the busy Thanksgiving season, we'll be continuing that. We have a lot of field day products that are exclusive to co-ops and independents that are on sale right now throughout the store. A lot of buy one get one deals in December. So there are deals throughout the store. We do have some member owner exclusives, but most of our sales are available to anyone walking in the door. So you can pick up the sales flyers. You come in, you can see the pink tags and the large white tags throughout the store that have our sales items, and really see great value everywhere throughout the store.
Can you go online to get a sense of what these sales are?
Yep. So if you go to our website, there's a shop section, and yes, you can see what's on sale on the weekly flyer and on the monthly flyer. And you still get those sales prices even if you purchase an online order and pick it up in store.
Okay, and so that is tpss.coop. You can go online, their webpage. Mike, what message would you like to leave people? We're getting ready for the holiday seasons. We're getting ready for new administration in Washington and around. What message would you like to leave people with?
Yeah, I mean, I always say the same thing around the holidays, but shop local for the holidays, shop small. Certainly support your local food co-op, but also even within the co-op, look at the products that are making their way into your basket, and make sure that you're supporting small food entrepreneurs, people that are keeping money in our local economy, and help to support those folks and make sure that they are seeing a reward for what is a very difficult thing to start a food business and try and make it. So that's always something that I think about, and all the different things that I bring home and serve for the holidays is shop small and shop local.
Shop small, shop local. We'll see you next Thursday. Please live cooperatively.
The preceding program was paid for by Everything Co-op.